rotation is locked. Rotate device back. Okay. Lurking. Hi, Jerry. Welcome to the technical chaos, which is me getting set up. Okay, that's kind of working. Jerry, you are my feedback. Okay. I thought I'd change the rotation, but quite clearly not. Oh well, we will just have to work with this. Hello to everyone who is trickling in. Hello. Let's get rid of you. Let's bring up the chat. Let's show the chat. Scroll down. Move that. Excellent. Okay. This may be... It may look like we're stuck at this angle, guys. So I do apologise, but every so often it likes to test me. We all know how well I get on with going live and the technical issues, and there is a link which is working and you can hear me and it seems to be going well. So fantastic. Hello, Rachel. Hi, how are you? I've got Jerry lurking. I've got Rachel. I've got a few more of you as well I can see trickling in. So hello. So I'll give it like a couple more seconds and then I will get started, but you can kind of see what I am working on this evening. Sorry about the random squeaks as well, guys. Basically, I wanted to... hello, Terry. Hello. Can I get this a bit more central? Let's just adjust the angle ever so slightly of this. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's move that. No, the rotation is absolutely fine. Hello, Sally Ann, or Sally. Hello. Welcome to an impromptu live. And I went live because... Okay. That should still be going. Yep. Love your pumpkin tin. It's a candle. Rachel, it's a candle from Primark. I literally paid all of... I don't even think I paid £2.50 because they were on a sale, but it's a candle and it smells of pumpkin spice. And I got it from Primark a couple of years ago, and they seem to come back every single year. So hopefully I'm not making people too seasick. Okay, this will have to do. If there's any like buffering or any issues, can you let me know? Because I've got the sound off at my end, and I have got a charging wire. Let me just move you, tilt you back. We get there eventually. Thanks so much for sticking with me. This is not the orientation I'd set, but as I said, me and going live, it often incurs technical issues, and even though it wasn't a lot of notice, I was at the point where, yes, Primark bargain, although not recently, which is very, very sad. They're no longer good value for money. Stop falling and breaking. I basically was getting to the point where I was like, I need to film Budgetmas 18 because I looked ahead at how much I had left to do and how much I had to film. Hobby trackers, they are coming. Digital ones are coming next week. And then the physical ones, I'm aiming to replace the laminator literally the day I get paid, which is either the 30th or the 31st. And as soon as that is up and going, and I've got that, thank you, Train, I will make these available for a physical product. So there'll be like a proper launch, but there's 5 available. There's a sewing one, there's a knitting one, because the two things are completely different, and I get really annoyed as a sewer every time I see knitting themed sewing stuff. There's gardening, there's painting or art based things. What have I got? Sewing, knitting, art, gardening and baking. So there's a set of 5. Peppa Pig. Still got it. I've still got it. Yeah, I've still got it. Wow, that's a throwback. That was my first ever Christmas on this channel, so that would have been December 2022. But no, I've still got it. Every so often I use him. I might try and use it next year. Which is again a bit of pre-planning. But no, thanks so much for joining me on this really, really impromptu live. Like I was saying, I I wanted to get a third video out today, because when I was looking at where I was up to in terms of like my backlog, I realised that I would be going all the way to potentially like the 23rd or the 24th, because I was about kind of 2 days behind, which is fine, but the 23rd is already really congested for me. Rachel, I don't know what on earth you mean about possible neurodivergencies and getting like excited by all of the things. Oh, I wonder why. No, as one spicy brain to another. Neurospicy brain to another, yes, but fortunately for me, I just get caught up in creating them. So it was a two-pronged attack today. It was I need to try and get a third video filmed, because the 23rd for me is really congested, and the 24th, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day is completely out. I'm not going to be doing any filming. I'm taking the time off, and I've got my prepping videos which I'm going to release over those days, and possibly a couple of like organising ones as well. And then I realised that there was no way I was going to get caught up with my own kind of self-imposed timeline, and I want to get the 31 videos done over December. The last time I attempted a Budgetmas was that first Christmas on the channel, and I just didn't get all of the videos done, and also for me it's a way of like giving content back to everyone that's kind of supported me through this period, and also sticking with me through the really awful orientation at the minute of the camera, because you don't get to see the whole setup. But it was getting later, and I was like, I want to do a budgeting based video, but I don't really want to look at any like forward planning or stuff like that, because they're going to have their own time, and I'm still working those things out anyway, and I kind of run the risk of repeating myself. So I was like, what can I do? And I was also getting a bit like, oh, I'm going to end up sitting like playing computer games this evening if I don't do something. So I thought, well, I know it's a bit short notice, but I'll put a link out, and if no one joins, it's fine. But if people can join, or they're lurking, or I am keeping you company while you do a task, then that is fantastic. And also, while it is great that I am using up my printing to my paper allocation, I should say, my printing allocation, I don't want to obviously print all of these off and then be left with like over 1,000 sheets of paper to work through. So I'm trying to do a little bit each day in terms of trimming, so that when the laminator arrives, I can just run them through the laminator and go from there. And what I'm also hoping to try and do is, through the coffee sales that I've had, go through and make sure I've got enough to keep on top of like my paper stocks and my laminate stocks as well. So all the hobbies that never get finished. Oh my goodness. It's kind of what I've been touching on with like the fabric stuff recently. And I think, to be fair, it's going to end up taking up probably quite a few videos. And I know that's such a silly thing, but I've got fabrics which have literally been following me around, quite literally following me around, because they've moved house with me 4 or 5 times for like over 10 years. And part of me feels like I don't really want to give them up, because some of it's beautiful. We're talking like £30 a metre stuff, but that was like 8 years ago when I got it, and was not making smart financial decisions, because at the time I wasn't running a business to write it off as a business expense and claim it back. So there's all the stuff like that, and I mean, it is such a mammoth job. If you've seen my conservatory organiser, and I can see just from those of you who are in my chat already that certainly a few of you have, if you saw my conservatory organised video today and you saw like those 5 bags, that is like on the floor that wasn't even open, that is a literal drop in the ocean. So yeah, I mean, financially, I will only ultimately benefit at this point in time from selling them, because like I've said, it's like some stuff I've had for years, and then if I were to literally tilt the camera and pan this way, I've got like a double stack rung of threads, and there's still enough on there that I can sell them as as bundles, buttons. I mean, some haberdashery stuff is worth keeping. you should always have, as far as I'm concerned, like a sewing kit that you know how to replace, like a snap fastener or a button or anything like that. Well, this is the problem, Rachel. Rachel's saying in the chat, I can't bring myself to get rid of. Yeah. And this is a thing, I can't either. And for me, like, so I had the business, like, I was able to continue earning during COVID because of my fabric stash, essentially, because I was able to, in June, July 2020, when in the UK they made it mandatory for face masks, like literally had a week's notice that it was going to be mandatory. And then all of a sudden, overnight, I had like 80 orders of face masks, and it was about £10,000 that earned me. So that kind of plugged some of the filming income that I'd lost. And then as events started happening, and I worked an awful lot with the live action role play, cosplay communities. I did an awful lot with reenactment groups, and then obviously theatres and collectors. It was really like that kept me going, but unfortunately it just grew quicker than I could manage, because for me I kind of did what I did with the coffee shop, which was just like went for it in that really impulsive way, but couldn't put the brakes on to pause and catch up. Because at the time, like, that was my primary source of income, so I couldn't take a step back and reevaluate it. And I was forever chasing my tail, which is partly why I've put an absolute hold on and taken off the physical products from the Not Another Budget shop. Because yes, I have got products left, but I would much rather I've got can you see? Yeah, so I mean, I've still got a fair amount here, but I've not done like a stock take or anything. I'm not really sure of the numbers. I need to obviously go through and check and stuff. Actually, no, you're fine. But I would much rather start completely fresh with the physical products, all laminated, all ready. And even if I have new products that are laminated and ready to go, and I like to do a gradual release on them, I would much rather do that and have a bit more kind of control and organisation about it, rather than just do what I did when I had the costume business, which was like dive straight first, head in. I was forever, I think I had, like, at the peak of it, I was getting fabric deliveries every other day, and we're talking like 10 to 20 metres of 4 different types of fabric each. So my overheads were horrendous on stock, but I was using it, but I was forever just chasing my tail with it. And over time, I have gone through and made things, I've used it up, I've sold some things, I've donated some things. But a lot of it is really like I don't want to say I'm going to give up sewing. I would much rather start completely over and like completely start afresh. And then if I want to make something in the future, or if I want to cut up any of my sewing patterns and make those up, I would, as silly as it sounds, I would much rather go and buy the fabric new with all of the correct pieces, because I very much like cannibalizing everything. So it's like, oh, I'll make this set of buttons work and I'll tweak the pattern slightly, because I know how to, it's a bit of a dying skill. I know how to make a pattern for a garment, a clothing pattern from scratch. I know how to adjust it. I know how to tailor things. So I can kind of cannibalize and alter stuff, but you're forever like compromising essentially. And it is a time thing. Like, me sitting here, and let's say I'm on this live for an hour, I could probably trim 10 sheets of this down, and that would be 30 like units trimmed essentially. Rachel's falling off the sofa because everything I'm saying is her. I'm so sorry. Please don't hit your head as you fall off the sofa. That's incredibly painful. I'm not here to cause pain to my viewers and subscribers. That's rather unfortunate. But it's really bittersweet, like, letting it go, because it's like, that was such a big part of my life. I mean, I decided that I wanted to be like a costume designer when I was 14, and I'm 32 now. And up until I was 30, when did I finish my film? Up until I was 31. Like, I was in a film of, no, I would have been 30. 2022 was when I stopped completely working in film and stopped like making things. So the stuff is definitely following me around, and it needs to go to a home of people who will use and appreciate it more. Unfortunately, fabric is just the biggest pain to get rid of. I don't care what anyone says. Fabric, yarn, paint stuff, anything like that. Oh my goodness. Trying to, like, because you know you're going to be making a loss. You know you're going to be making a loss from it. You know that it's going to take longer to list. You know that it's going to be you're going to have to hold out for your pricing, and I will hold out for my pricing. But equally for me, if I think about what I have got to focus on, and you've probably like heard me allude to it, the fact that I think this first financial quarter of the year, so January, February, March, will be I think a hoarding cash situation at the minute. Oh dear, that needs to go into my for those of you who like a bargain, I have lots of seconds here that will be going into a Whoopsie bundle, but I don't want to release the Whoopsie bundles until I've got like 10 large, 10 medium and 10 small, and do them in kind of like an odd job. At the minute, I'm unlikely to, my gut is telling me hoard cash and make sure I have everything kind of, make sure I have my 4 walls in order. And if I have to do like a bare minimum to my debt, then I'll do a bare minimum and then review that going into the summer, because I'm really conscious, and Bowie is at my feet at the minute. He's a little bit, he's in a food coma, basically. He's in a dreamy coma. And I'm a little bit conscious that every time I've tried to kickstart saving and get something aside, something happens with my cat, or something happens with the house, or something happens with the car, or something happens, and and I'm back to square one. And I really don't want to get back to square one in 2025. So I am hesitant. I am hesitant to rush into 2025 with a debt focus. I want to, I think, move into 2025 with a savings focus. And certainly, if I look at kind of where am I going to get that money from, it will be from Vinted and places like that. I think that I'm going to make Vinted and possibly eBay selling, but I wasn't kidding earlier when I said eBay customers are the worst. Sorry if you are an eBay customer, but hopefully you're a good eBay customer. That's kind of where that's going to come from. So I thought I would come on, I would do a little bit more trimming down. We can have a chat. So if there's anything you want to know in the comments, this isn't an ask me anything. Just go ahead and let me know who's here. I've got a Sainsbury's own version of Coke Zero or Pepsi Max, and it's really nice. I actually quite like Sainsbury's. If you're smart about how you shop and you utilise the Nectar pricing, which is obviously the reward card discount pricing, and their Aldi price matching, you can actually get some decent stuff for not much money. I'm not feeling Christmassy at all. Let me know if you are. If you are, I'm really glad for you and happy for you. Not really, that was loads of sarcasm. I'm not feeling Christmassy at all, which I don't think is helping. And also, I'm trying really hard to not get distracted by all of the really fun, exciting things to do. So when I sorted through the conservatory earlier, I was like, oh, I can sort through this box, and oh, I can sort through this. And I had to kind of stop, put the brakes on and go, no, don't go on a side quest and get distracted. Side quests are not where it's at. I'm also much more of a night owl than school hours let me be. So it means that actually, like when I did the video from this morning, the sorting out, that was a really impulsive video. I would buy physical products if you sent to the US. That was Jerry. Oh. It's the postage. It's not the price of the products, because the price of the products would just be the same. It's the postage. And in the UK, I don't know if it's like this abroad. If you are in the comments and you live abroad, let me know. But basically, in the UK, if anything goes wrong with the postage at all, be it internationally or domestically, as the sellers, we're responsible fully from the moment it leaves us to the moment it reaches your door. So if it goes missing or if it gets delayed at customs, we can't claim those costs back easily from the shipping courier. If the shipping courier literally loses it, then it's our problem to deal with. They don't compensate us. Even if it's like a case of you pay out first and then you claim it back, you can pay for additional insurance, but often insurance on international products, let's say that, what do I price? Let's say the savings, just for ease of maths, let's say the savings challenges were £3 each and you bought 10, so £30. The insurance I would have to pay would be significant, probably more than the value of the product, and I would only be insured up to a certain value. So also, as well as a result of the UK's rather interesting foreign policy with regards to goods and taxes, I know a lot of UK sellers have stopped shipping, certainly to Europe, and I think some overseas territories as well, because we're just getting absolutely hammered. It was a problem when I ran, because my previous business, I did ship internationally. And I think I would say like a good 40% of my consumer base was from North America. And I was also going to Australia, Canada, Europe. I sent a couple of things to India. I was working with production companies in Latvia, weirdly, of all the places. And I would want to make sure that let me grow not another budget a bit more before I start offering like international shipping. And as well, because I won't use Etsy, I need to make sure that like all of everything's like fine and okay. Because that's another thing I'm thinking of as well. It's like how long do I stay on coffee? The more products I add, because I love what coffee has offered me in terms of like getting started quickly. But from a consumer perspective, I know when I go and look for something, I like to kind of know that, right, I'm going to navigate to this section and I'm going to navigate to this section, and everything's a bit organised and arranged. And I don't really have that control over the shop front. Like if I add a product, it literally goes, like the list of products appears from most recently added to last added, and then I can have up to 5 categories, which I think at the minute I've got physical products, digital products, bundles, planners, and there's another one. But I would want to break that down a lot more, and I would want to maybe have like beginner bundles or something like that. So I would want to look at probably moving the shop away from coffee, but I'm obviously aware that like there is a hosting domain aspect of that, and that's something I've not looked at because I ran my previous business through Etsy, mainly because it was convenient to do so. But from a seller, I was incredibly dissatisfied with them and their customer service and what they offered me, and their fees were horrendous, like utterly horrendous, and getting worse all the time. And that handmade aspect of Etsy has been disappearing. So I'm not ruling out me shipping to the US, but I would want to like get a bit behind me in terms of like building up a buffer for not another budget to cover that comfortably. And also, if I were to take it away from coffee and launch it properly, and launch something separately in terms of a different shop hosting experience, I would want like a really good shipping experience. So if I do go down that route and I need someone to test the shipping for me, Jerry, I will get in contact with you and go, I need to test the shipping, have some free products, let me know how it goes. I will literally cover everything, because it's just, I mean, from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like the postage system in America is any better than the Royal Mail in the UK. So Yeah, I mean, I literally would shut down my business over Christmas. I wouldn't ship at all because it was just horrendous. Like the amount of stuff that would just sit at customs, or people that would like order beyond my cut-off dates wanting them for Christmas, and I'd be like, you're not going to get it. I want it. Okay. So yeah, I'm not ruling out shipping to the US, but there are a few things on my not another budget business to-do list first before I introduce the logisticalness of international shipping. Yeah, that's that one. Crumblecrafts is saying that she agrees regarding my earlier comment about Sainsbury's, and their fruit and veg is much better quality than Lidl in her experience. And then just catching up, Jennifer has said never felt less Christmassy, not even got Jennifer, you haven't even got how Jennifer, you need to get your tree up. Why isn't your tree up? It's the 19th. Jennifer, get your tree up. How? See, I'm that stressed. I'm stressed for you. Like, I can't. So for me, I okay, chill, it's fine. I'm not Jennifer. My tree is up. It's okay. Right. Why isn't your tree up, Jennifer? Jennifer, tell me in the comments. Tell me everything. No, so for me, I get my tree up early in November. I normally go for like the first weekend. And then it comes down on the 27th. And that's why I get mine up earlier. So I get mine up earlier in November because it's something to come home and look forward to during the autumn 2 term. And then going like to at the 27th it's down, because that's my equivalent of like my spring cleaning over winter. Because for me, I like going into the new year with like a fresh clean house, which is why most of my like what I'm doing in 2025 financials, updated debt list, or debt priority list, savings list, etc., that will come within that week. Oh, Jerry, it's not about the cost of the postage. I'm just more concerned that the item wouldn't get to you because of the state of the postage couriers themselves. And like, I wouldn't put the insurance cost of an item onto a customer because that's just not fair at all. But I have to be able to like cover that. And at the minute I can't comfortably. And also like, I'm just like, let me get the first 3 months out of the way because I have plans in brewing in the background for not another budget. And it does kind of tie into where I'm hosting, what I'm doing, and that's partly why I'm kind of trimming and getting ahead now. Jerry, why haven't you got Christmas decorations up? Jerry and Jennifer, you are letting the side down. Hang your heads in shame. Why haven't you got Christmas decorations up, you two? Why? Well, no wonder you don't feel Christmassy, Jennifer, because you haven't even got the tree up yet. That's all I'm saying. Rachel says it doesn't feel like Christmas this year. She's trying to be excited for the kids, but it's hard. Yeah, I mean, like I said in my Christmassy video yesterday, we're really weird as a family. Mary, hello. Hello, Mary, how are you? Jennifer says she has no excuse. Well, exactly. You don't have an excuse because it's 19th. Have you telling off right now? She's been putting it off. Promise it's going up tomorrow until the 27th. A week! Okay, that's fine. I need to replace my tree next year. I was putting it up this year and put it this way. Bowie's had great fun like batting it from side to side because it's not stable. To be fair, my first Christmas tree was a little 5-foot one and I paid £5 for it from Facebook Marketplace, and I drove to a village, which, I mean, to be fair, most places where I live are villages that are half an hour away. I drove to a village which was... about 35 minutes away, and on the way back we had like torrential rain just open up and the visibility was horrendous. I was in a smaller car back then, so I was in my older car, and it was a little Vauxhall Corsa, so it had no length to it at all, and I had like a 5-foot Christmas tree because it was assembled and it couldn't be disassembled, like stuck down the side of me. Couldn't see where I was going because the visibility was horrendous, but it was £5 and it did me well. And then when that went a couple of years ago, Mum or Dad gave me their old one. But again, it was a little bit ropey, but I had to very quickly replace the Christmas tree and couldn't afford to. So, to be fair, Christmas decorations and trees and stuff are not what I tend to spend money on, but I think I'm going to have to replace one. So that's obviously a Christmas cost, which I haven't had to do for a while. Even if I go like second hand or look for offers or buy them in like springtime when it's cheaper. I never go fresh. I always go artificial because I can keep it for longer. So yeah, I mean, we don't have little kids, so we just, like, all of my cousins and I are a similar age. So my eldest cousin she's 37, and the youngest one is 23 or 24. So we're all like, there was obviously a batch of small children, but obviously as we've grown up, for whatever reason, we've just not really gone on and had kids. And that eldest cousin is the only one with a baby, and he's 6 now and is literally the other side of the country, so we don't really see them. So there are no small children to like get you going about Christmas, even if you don't feel it yourself. So we kind of do Christmas as adults. It means mum and dad still spend Christmas money on us because they haven't got grandchildren to buy for, so I'm not complaining there. But this is also the first year where I've not done myself my own Christmas presents, and I know that those of you in the comments and in the chat at the minute know how much I love buying myself a Christmas present, and how much I will, yes, get your cleaner to help bring the tree down from the loft. Jerry, I want a report back. I want to know that you've got your decorations up, even if you leave it in a comment. Have fun lurking. Have fun getting your Christmas tree down. Completely lost my train of thought now. I love buying myself my own Christmas presents, and this is the first year I've had to go like I can't afford to do it. And it's a bit sad. It's fine. Like, ultimately, it's all for like a good thing. And if I tell you, I'm absolutely counting down the days now until this whole 6-week period is done. I'm not sure if we're going to get paid on the 30th or the 31st, because I don't know if they're treating, if my school is treating the 31st as a bank holiday. It's technically not, but I don't know what the finance office will do. So we're either going to get paid on the 30th or the 31st. A week and a half to go. So, and I've still got to get paid from YouTube. That'll be coming at some point, either tomorrow or Monday. And then it looks like as well, looking at kind of how the coffee shop has performed as well, that there'll be a payment around the 30th anyway from that then as well. So, It's keeping me going, and I have asked for money for Christmas, but my parents don't like doing money. They think it's not putting in a lot of effort, and I'm like, no, it's fine. I don't mind if you don't put in a lot of effort. Thankfully, I am not feeling like I'm missing out on anything, because I've got all of these wonderful things to like focus on and get excited by. And oh, hello, Bowie. Do you want to come up and see people? Hello. Right, we may be getting a Bowie appearance. Hello, darling. Oh, where are you going? People want to come and see you. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work because he might bump the camera. He is here. He's literally just here. Here he is. Hello, darling boy. Should we move this? Move this for a second. He's fine. It's just winter, so he's very low energy. And we're coming up on and we had our anniversary of his various expensive shenanigans. What are you doing? Thank you. Hello. Hey, sweetie. Mwah. So we had that was a while ago. So, well, a couple of weeks ago. So that was a bit of a thing, wasn't it? We've had a very eventful, expensive year, haven't we? Yes. So we've been, where's his tail? You say hi to people. There we go. Just there. So we've had yes, he's a bit low energy, but he wants all the dreamies in the world. which is fine. He can have all the dreamies in the world, can't you? But he does worry me every time he goes a bit low energy. I get a bit like, oh, are you okay? And then I have to listen to his heart rate and get a bit panicked. Frustratingly, we are, I don't know if you've missed this, I did briefly mention it in one of my many videos which I've released this week. We have got to start the year with a vet's visit for a blood test, because they won't put his thyroid medication on repeat until we've had that blood test. So that will be when I have the conversation of, because I did ask the question, that will be when we have the conversation of how are we, this needs to not be a thing. This needs to not be a thing, and here is why it can't be a thing, because you re-aged him to 10 years old, and it therefore means he's uninsurable, because apparently we don't insure old cats who have heart conditions. Not overly happy with that. Insurance feels like a scam some days. But yeah, so I am trying to stay focused. Trying to keep trimming, and because I am a bit of a night owl normally, I'm really productive at from 1 o'clock onwards. But I obviously can't do the whole 9 a.m. wake up at school when I'm meant to be in school, and I can't do the whole 1 a.m. go to bed when I have school. So I am getting a fair amount done in the evenings at the minute, which is lovely. And what I'm also managing to... What are we doing now? No, that's my mouse. I need my mouse. Bowie. Darling, can we just do a thing? Tell you what, why don't you come for a cuddle with me? Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right, come for a cuddle. There we go. Okay, let's just cradle you like a baby, because apparently that's what you need, because you're not in charge at all in this house, are you? No. So I'm currently cradling Bowie like a baby. I wish I could show you, but I don't want to show my face. So there we go. So he's been cradled like a baby, and he's purring like an aeroplane is going off, which I feel like was his primary intention. Can I shift you onto your bed? There we go. Good boy. Yeah. You're so good. Yeah, you stay there. Don't walk on my laptop. You'll end up disrupting the stream. Yeah, you stay there. Yeah, he's like a little heat-seeking missile at the minute. So the laptop is just positioned off camera here, and he is therefore trying to get warmth from it. But that inevitably means that he knocks it, steps on it, types something, and does something, which is not ideal. It is also... Hang on, where are you? What are you going? What are you doing? Go back, go back, go back. There we go. Laptop, what are you doing? Oh, this laptop needs replacing. Yeah, something on my forever shopping list is a good laptop, because that would be really nice. It won't happen for a long time. But one thing I am finding with the productivity that I'm getting as a result of being a night owl, the one time I tried to go to bed early, which was Tuesday night, I was literally awake all night and ended up going back to bed at 8 a.m. I think I was up at 2 a.m. just got out of bed because I've been tossing and turning. I think my sleep app said that I'd had 2 hours sleep, and that was being mildly optimistic. It's horrendous. One thing that it did do was kind of reset my time, though. There we go. See, these ones are a bit more difficult to cut because they're pale, and this is a really yellow light. The lighting setup isn't ideal, but you will see this room, because this room needs a sort out. So this room is going to appear in an organising, managing type situation, because one room you haven't seen is attached to this one, and it is it's a walk-in wardrobe, because for a 2-bed semi-detached house, the developers felt like walk-in wardrobes were needed in both bedrooms, ultimately making both sizes of the bedrooms horrendously small, but great for storage. So that has always been where I've stored like costumes and products and stuff that I've made, and then it became a bit of a dumping ground. It is where I will be storing the things that I will be selling secondhand, and it can all kind of live in there. I need to make sure I don't forget about it, because out of sight and forgetting about it is a problem for me. But I do find that I need to keep the conservatory clear, and that is a room which is just... Yes, they won't do anything with it, I think, until I either own the house that I live in, which is a long, long, long way off, or I move out and they're forced to do it from a new tenant perspective. That's something which is coming up in 2025. April, 4 months away. I will have the annual inspection, and it will be... They'll then come back and go, right, your rent is being raised, or we want a new tenant, or you can stay, and this is how much it will cost. So it comes around quick every year. And I don't know genuinely what they'll do. There are things in the house which need refreshing. Okay, stop moaning. All right, I'll put some more paper in. It's absolutely fine. There you go. There are things in this house which need refreshing desperately, like the carpet in both bedrooms. The carpet in all rooms is a state. Can we resume printing, please? What's wrong? Yeah, the carpet in all rooms is an absolute state. I mean, it was worn. What? Thank you. It was worn 5 years ago when I moved in, and it won't be any better. In fact, it's just gotten worse. And that's with the cat that they don't know about. I'm not declaring that on my tenancy, thank you very much. So the house is going to be a lurker in the background that will probably get mentioned a bit more in videos the nearer the time we get, hence my hoarding of cash paranoia. So there is a lot that I just want to settle and survive January, February and March, and it's winter and I don't like making New Year's resolutions, I think is going to be taken away from me. No one likes to hear that. And yes, I think I will make a few diehards in the budgeting community not overly happy with my decision to not focus on debt. But I've been spreading myself too thin, trying to do everything, trying to keep up with budgeting trends, which just don't suit me. And and just no more. No more. They don't crumble. They don't. That's all I'm saying, so I don't want to tempt fate. No, they don't. I make sure I stay on good terms with my neighbour, even if they're incredibly annoying sometimes, because they will have Bowie when inspections are going on, and I don't therefore, I will report maintenance issues when I know that I can be in and he can be out and hiding somewhere. And to be fair, he is not a cat that destroys property. I'm incredibly lucky with, considering he was a stray, he doesn't go for banisters, he doesn't scratch up carpet, it's absolutely fine. Okay, update from Jerry. The Christmas tree is in the living room, still in the bag, but in the living room. We're working it later today. Jerry, that is half acceptable. Well done. He goes to my neighbours. Because to be fair, she and her son love him, and he really actually goes and visits them when he comes out. And with inspection day as well, I give myself a week, so I have a week of deep cleaning. I have one of those carpet scrapers. I'll go through and every trace of him disappears, even if there's a picture up of me and he's in it goes down. My sister made for me a little calendar one year, a photo calendar for Christmas, and it was pictures of Bowie, and that came down. It all gets hidden, everything gets hidden in the boot of my car, and then I put blankets over it, and I keep my neighbour sweet. So, well, if that's the thing, like, he's such a good, well-behaved pet from a house perspective that, and around here, like the cost of accommodation around here is ridiculous. Like, I'm not in London. So I want to clarify location-wise. I'm not in London. I'm not on the London commuter belt. I'm not in Greater London. I'm not in a commuter town that gets you to London. So all of the things that makes this a really expensive cost of living area. I'm not in the vicinity of a major expensive city. But our costs are horrendous. So I pay £950 a month, and that is cheap. My second bedroom, which is this little office room that I'm in now, is teeny tiny, great for a toddler. But my neighbour, who has a teenage son now, he's in this room as his equivalent room as his bedroom, and she's just agonising. She said there's room for a small single bed and a desk and a chair, and that's it. Thankfully, we've got the walk-in wardrobe, but everything then has to go in there. Like, it's tiny. This is an office-sized room, and I'm also explicitly banned from subletting and taking a lodger. I could probably get someone else on the lease if I were to enter a relationship and they move in, but I'm not going to go down that route purely to reduce my rent and my bills. That's not a reason to stop my single status and my independence. And it was £950 is what I pay. It was £750 when I moved in 4 years ago, so it's gone up £200 in that time. Apparently it's capped because they're kind of capped by the market. If they try and let out a 2-bed for more than £1,000, they've found that because I live rurally, that people won't go for it. But there are, or it has to be an exceptional, like really exceptional property, like 2-bed with like tons of land and stuff like that, or additional outbuildings, which mine doesn't have. So they found that the market has capped them at around £950 for a 2-bed. But if they could get away with charging, like, it then jumps up to £1,200 to £1,400 for a 3-bed. A 4-bed is £1,400 to be fair, I've seen 4 beds for £2,500. This is a month. It's just super expensive. So, I mean, I would have to move significantly far away to get cheaper rent and remove myself from my support network. So £950 is a good price for a 2-bed in my area, because they don't really come cheaper than that. So I'm kind of stuck by a really high cost of living without the London weighting, so the extra money you get paid for living in London. If you're not from the UK, if you live in London and you work in London, or if you work in London and have to live in the commuter belt, you basically get paid an extra amount on your wages to accommodate the high cost of living. My sister, for a brief amount of time, was teaching down in a school in London, and she had an extra £9,000 a year on her wages, and you get paid more as well to certainly teach in those areas, because they're desperate for teachers. She wasn't there for very long though, because it had its own issues. But yeah, so I don't get that value, that price. And then trying to say as well, because there is such a high competition, because there is a shortage of houses that are available for rent, trying to say like, oh, I've got a cat and he's fully white, would just be, I just wasn't going to risk it. I wasn't going to risk getting turned down because of my cat. So I just didn't say anything. I just hid him. I think it's something stupid like 76% of UK renters don't declare that they have a pet, or pet owning renters don't declare that they have a pet, and they just risk it. And I do risk it. I'm fully aware of that, which is why like there's not necessarily like the settled security of because I've been a great tenant with him. But I don't want them to find out and that be the reason that they don't renew. So it is a bit of a, we do play a dicey game. So I do have to keep my neighbour sweet. Generally as well, we have quite a good relationship, but yeah, we're different personalities, and sometimes that can be difficult to navigate, as with all things. And I kind of have to grit my teeth and go, you need to take him. And failing that, Mum and Dad will come over and go for a walk with him. So there is that as well. Oh, there we go. Getting there, like making progress, getting through things. I mean, what did I started working on this batch just before going live. So we're doing and getting through quite a lot. The thing that's great about the it's great that I have obviously this free printing allocation, but and I didn't own 2,100 sheets of paper. How much have I got left actually? You lucky Mungo Louie. You only have one inspection a year. Friends I know have 3. That's horrendous. Why do they need to be inspected so much? Like, that's ridiculous. Are you in the UK, Mungo? So in the UK, generally it's annual inspection. Well, you have to have an annual inspection. The only time that was slightly exempt was COVID, for obvious reasons. And I've been here a long time. I've always reported issues as and when they've popped up. I kind of looked after the property, and they know the property is getting a bit of wear. Like, they know that. They know it was worn when I came in and moved in, because there was noted on the contents inspection that it would need replacing. But I do, as chaotic and as messy as you have seen my house, it is perfect when they come to visit and they come to do that inspection, because I do want to. I mean, I've made reference to it this week and in the past as well. I would love to own my property. It's not my property, but I would love to own the property I rent, like this one here, because it's a cracking. I mean, it is like the potential in a 2-bed is insane. Like, it's got. I mean, I would shrink the conservatory. What would I do? I would shrink the conservatory and I would make it fully insulated. I would have a bit of sound deadening in there. I would have properly, yes, in the UK, 2 from the landlord and 1 from the council. Oh God. Wow. That's just so disruptive to your daily life though. Like, I find the inspections really stressful. Like, the annual inspection I find really stressful. I take about a week to go through, and I mean, I'm there scrubbing skirting boards and doors. I do that level of a clean. I go over it with a fine-tooth comb. And I find that so stressful. Really, really stressful. Genuinely don't think I could take on 2 more, because it's just, I mean, I had to last year I was able to get my a 2-year contract with from 2022 to 2024 I was able to fix my rent at 850 and keep it that way for 2 years. And when that was coming to an end, it would have been June the 17th. And it was February. So February of this year, February 2024, I emailed the letting agent, because my landlord runs everything through a letting agency to manage on his behalf. I emailed them and said, look, I'm aware that we're coming up to tenancy renewal. I, of course, would like to stay in the property, but I'm aware that the rent's been fixed for 2 years. I know that there will be an increase of some sort because it's been fixed for 2 years. And in this time, if you're in the UK, this was when the mortgage and rent rates just absolutely shot through the roof. There'd been an issue with the landlord basically deciding over the course of 1 week that he needed to sell all of his tenancy properties, and I was given an eviction notice, no fault eviction notice, to then changing his mind within a week. So I'd been keen to avoid that. And that meant, as a result of that situation, I was able to secure those 2 years as a bit of a sorry for screwing you around, because I literally presented to the council going, I haven't got the money to move. This is a no-fault eviction. He's selling the property. Don't understand why. Not done anything wrong. I can't afford to deposit or funds to move. What can I do? Please help. And not in a I want council housing, just more of a can you take over the speaking and the navigation of this? Can you try and keep me in the property while they do the viewings, for example, or up until they have a buyer in place, rather than me moving out after 2 months just to have someone to speak for me. And as a result of that and that screw around, I did get the 2 years. But I knew the rents had gone up, so I'm just trying to remember back to what happened, because it was a stressful time. I had emailed and said, I'm aware the costs are going up. I'm in teaching, so my career and income is going to be incredibly stable from now onwards. But I don't have the funds to go ahead and be served a 30-day or a 2-month notice. So if the landlord is intending to sell like he did last time, or want a new tenant, please can you give me as much notice as possible? I'll still stay in the property and I'll still continue paying rent in that time. And that kind of opened up that door to, I'm fully aware that things could change, but I'm a teacher. I was teacher training. I had the school holidays and the weekends. That was it. It was going to coincide with my last 8 weeks of training, when I couldn't just take time off to move, and I therefore asked for as much information as possible. And I was like, I'm fully aware he may not make decisions, but I basically was like, I'm not going to have a repeat of what happened last time, which was, you did an inspection, everything was fantastic, you said the rent might need to go up £50, which was fine. You then came back 3 weeks later when I was chasing you going, I've not had any tenancy information, what's going on? You literally gave me an hour's notice, turned up at my doorstep and went, we need to evict you, the landlord's selling the property, he's had a change of circumstances, here's your section 21. Twat. Basically. And I completely came out of the blue, and I was like, what? So I was absolutely, so ever since then, I love my house, don't get me wrong, it's mine, it's me in every way, but I have very little trust. Ultimately, landlords will serve themselves. Private landlords, I'm not a social service, social enterprise, but also from a tenant's perspective, as you'll all see from my finances, I'm not in the position for someone to just give me 2 months notice and then go, oh, by the way, can you make your house constantly available for viewings? Well, no, because I have Bowie, but also no one's coming in the house when I'm not there at all. Sorry, that to me is a single female living alone. You're not coming in the house when I'm not there. Sorry. So any time a boiler work needs to be done, I make sure I'm there. I schedule all maintenance visits when I'm not there. And the arrangement, the hands-off arrangement, has worked relatively well. And sorry. But yeah, so that's going to be coming down the pipeline. Probably going to start looking at that in February. But I also know, and again, I don't know why they do this. It's at times like this where I kind of envy, I say this, I'm probably going to regret saying this. In America, as far as I'm aware, it's quite common to be paid every 2 weeks. Wish that was the case in January, because we get a 5-week period in January. Why? Why do this to us? So I'm literally exiting a 6-week pay period and going into a 5-week one without the additional student loan income. And Jerry, I think it was Jerry or Paula? I think it was Jerry. Yeah, Jerry left a comment, and I did answer it in response, but I'll answer it here as well. Jerry had said because I was expecting 2 additional student loan income payments for my masters, one in January and one in April, and they would total between, I can't remember the exact amount, so I think I said £4,500 to £5,000. that's after my fees have been paid, and because it's the equivalent of full-time study, and you may have to, depending on the masters you're doing, you may have to incur obviously research costs, book costs and stuff like that, but also it's kind of the equivalent of a full-time job, so it's there as an income supplementary put towards your cost and living expenses. So that would have been mine to keep and use, as I would have done. And even last year when I was getting my student loan payments, I didn't get to keep all of the amount. There were things that I had to purchase that were related to my teaching practice, that were related to my masters. Not my masters, my PGCE. So anything like that, I did that first, and was like, let's say it was £2,000, or no, let's say it was £3,000 that come in. I think I would be like, there's £3,000 that's come in, but I've had to spend £400 on course-related activities. That's what the money is meant to be used for first, and then this is what I'm doing with the rest. Primarily, basically paying for Bowie. So, yeah, with that not coming, that would have been a nice amount to kind of plug that whole 5-week gap thing, even if I just took like a little bit of it. Thankfully, YouTube will perform for me because of the videos. And that, again, is kind of a driver for Budgetmas as well. Because December and November, December, and I feel like October as well, but I didn't put videos out really in October, so I didn't get an ad revenue payment. Ad revenue in January is paid from videos you released in December, and ad revenue is at its highest over November and then December as well. So I can already see what I am anticipating, and I would say that YouTube will comfortably cover, with some change, the extra week that we have to navigate. This is why I'm partly like, please don't, I think in a recent video I was like, please don't pay me early. Because I'm on that I've turned it into like a game. Like, it's like a thanks, Bowie, for what have you... Well, that was rude. Why'd you put that on the floor? Okay, that's just Bowie rolling stuff on the floor. Thank you. I've turned it into a game. So first of all, it was like, I'm gonna plan. Then we're gonna reach like the midway point. So it's kind of like climbing up a mountain. Climbing up a mountain, it's really difficult, and then you reach the top. You kind of have a little bit of clarity, and then you start the descent. And the descent is not always easier, having done walking and hiking and climbing in real life, but typically the descent is sometimes easier than the climb upwards. So, and it feels like it's going faster, and it's not. The amount of time it's taking is still the same, but I think because I have broken up from school now, I've very much kind of not putting I have a rough plan for what I want to do each week. Like this week is homemade Christmas week. Oh, sorry guys. Like this week is homemade Christmas week. It's also giving me a chance to just sense check where I'm at. I get to work on creative stuff. If I want to sleep in and go to bed later, I can. And then before I know it, I'm, best case scenario, 11 days away from getting paid. Worst case scenario, 12 days away. A week and a half. Next week being Christmas. So, that in itself will keep me busy. So I've turned it into like a game where I'm ticking everything off. Jerry has come back and said she worked for a state agency and we were paid once a month. Actually, it was every 21 or 22 working days. However, most US employers pay every week or every other Friday. So in the UK, getting paid once a month is the norm. It is unusual that you get paid weekly. The only time I've ever been paid weekly was when I left university. From the August to the December, I worked for Greg's. Oh my gosh, the free stuff, and they paid weekly. That was a good job. Mum did well in bread and cakes from me, because it was all free once the shop shut, and then they changed the rules, and then I left because they changed the rules. No, they didn't. I got a theatre job. And went into theatre, and then transitioned very quickly into film and television because I realised that theatre was not for me. But yeah, that's the only time ever. So in all of my working life, and I got my first paying job when I was 14. So 18 years ago. So in 18 years, I've only ever been paid weekly once. I've never been paid every other week. And once a month is the norm. But that in the UK, that once a month tends to fall at like the end of the month. Some employers, so when I worked for the BP fuel garage, they pay on the 15th. But again, that can still be 5 weeks. I've worked places which pay on the 25th, the 28th, or the last working day, or the last day. And that in January normally means that it's a 5-week month. But because I have gamified and I've put kind of a purpose and a focus in place for each week, and I'm keeping myself busy with the videos, and that's helping me kind of experiment and try different things. Like my video this morning, so Budgetmas 16, was completely unplanned and off the cuff. That was not the focus for the day at all, but I woke up and was like, I need to be moving around this morning. I need to, this room is annoying me, therefore I need to spend a little bit of time doing it. And I could have absolutely carried on, but it wasn't the case at all. And then on top of that, because I've got that focus, it's kind of like eating into the time. And having done all of those major financial things now, they're off my mind. And as frustrating as it was paying 2 months rent in one go, it was absolutely the right financial thing to do. I think we can all agree that looking at the numbers don't lie, and they would not have been there for me to do that. And having now dealt with the council tax and the car insurance, which were the last two big things, it's like I can just take a step back and breathe a bit more now. I can enjoy the time that I'm doing. Like I've driven once this week, so I've not even yet gone and put petrol in. I've gone below half a tank, so I will probably put petrol in when YouTube pay me. But I've not needed to do that. I've not driven, apart from once. I've been at home. And I think it will throw my weird brain out if I get paid early before Christmas. Like, at this rate, I know where I'm at with it. Just keep me on, as frustrating as it is, like not going out and having money to spend and do things, is keeping me focused on stuff like this, because it's like I'm not feeling like I want to go out and spend to plug a hole. Jerry has said in the US, landlords never come to the rental property. There is no requirement to have inspections. So in the UK, it is a requirement. You have to have an annual inspection every year. It sounds like Mungos are absolutely taking the mick. And that was more than one inspection is unusual, and I would say intrusive, because we have what's known as, so we have to have an annual inspection every single year. But we also have what's known as a right to quiet enjoyment. So that's a legal requirement. We have the right to enjoy the property that we are living in, whether we own it or not, without overly intrusive involvement from letting agencies or landlords. And you can be like, there have been some cases, because I like keeping an eye on stuff like this. There have been some cases where like you're a horrendous tenant, like really horrendous, like horror tenant, but because they've literally had like unannounced inspection, so you have to be given 24 hours notice before your property is entered. If 24 hours notice isn't given, you can cause a lot of trouble legally for a landlord or a tenancy or a letting agency. You have to be given a reasonable amount of time to resolve and report issues. Renters' rights and renters' reforms are absolutely not where they should be at all. It's horrendous. But I mean, I'm hoping that like what will be 5 years of good. I mean, I'm hoping what will have been 5 years of me being a good tenant in a property which is really loved. Like the letting agent is like, I've got a decent-ish relationship with the letting agent, enough to where he felt comfortable saying like, I can tell that this really is a home for you, and you've made it a home, and you treasure it, and you look after it, and it really does mean a lot. And when I said to him, you know, this is not something that I can do in the next 3 years at least, but it is a property that I would like to own. And he went, well, look, we'll keep the communication open. And I know that would be, you know, absolutely approach us and have a discussion. Mungo has reported back and said between the 3 inspections, 1 check for the smoke alarms and another check for the fire alarm, it's a real pain for my friends. That's horrendous. That's not right. So the smoke alarm and the fire alarm checks are done and meant to be done during that single annual inspection. There should only be another check if you report an issue with your alarms. Like, we've noticed that it should have gone off, there was a fire and the alarms didn't go off. Like, that should just be part of an annual check. Like, even when I wasn't so I moved in at the end of the first lockdown. So as soon as the rental market opened back up, like June the 1st, I think we had that first lockdown finish. I moved in on June the 17th. Like, or was it 12 weeks? Like, yeah, June the 17th I moved in. But June from 2020 to 2022, there wasn't a physical in-person inspection. So the only thing that happened was the letting agent emailed me a year later and went, can you, and I think it was my dad at the time, because he is a bit of a handyman himself. So he was like, can you and your dad go round, check and see if the fire alarms are working, and if there's not, can you let us know and we'll get them replaced, because we have to by law do an annual check. And obviously for COVID purposes, there was like that was lockdown number 3 or whatever it was at that point a year later. We can't do it. Like, that was it. That doesn't sound right. I feel like your friends need to speak to people who know a lot about renting, because those checks should be done with the annual inspection. The only check I have which is different is the boiler, and they just send me an email and go, your annual boiler check is due. They were the ones that installed it, so it's just an annual thing, and it's literally like half an hour, and it's not even an inspection. They just come and make sure and give me an updated gas certificate and look at it. That's not Mungo. That's shady. Like, they don't need to be doing that at all. No, I don't like that. That's not, no. Get your friends to speak to Shelter, because they're quite good for tenant rights and things like that. You shouldn't be, they have a right to quiet enjoyment, and they don't need 3 inspections. And those 2 additional checks can be done and should be done with your main inspection. Sorry, that's ridiculous. Jerry said in the state she used to live in, it was illegal to pay any less frequently than every 2 weeks, except and unless you were working for the state. Yeah. I feel like in the UK, like, most people have been paid. Like, I genuinely don't know what would happen if we all of a sudden became paying every week or every 2 weeks. Like, I feel like our world would upend. There are some things which are really fundamental, like in terms of like a cultural shift. You tend to get paid before Christmas, and then you go from having to deal with a 5-week month to a 6-week month, or in the case of my sister, a 7-week month, because they paid her in the 2nd week of December. And she just messaged me. She was like, I don't mean to brag, but you know how you're dealing with this whole 6-week thing? And I was like, yes, don't remind me. She went, I've got a 7-week. So getting paid before Christmas is a cultural norm, and then having to deal with a 5-week month in January, and you have to deal with buyer's remorse because of a Christmas overspend, is it? And being absolutely bombarded by like gym membership discounts. Yeah, I don't think as a nation we would cope with moving to 2 weeks. And I don't think, like, yeah. Yeah, no. Sorry about the squeak. Oh, that's going to be a whole lot of seconds because I've gone too far too close to the line. We're just going to put you to one side because that was a dud. In fact, is there streaking on this? Yep, there's streaking on all of that. You're going to go and be whoopsie bundles. How's this looking? Are we out of paper? No, behave yourselves. Oh. What you doing? Okay, well, I know there's a jam. We're going to deal with you later. Are you streaky as well? Yeah, you are. Why are you streaky? Mungo is updated. Yes, get your friends to look into it. Really liked a job where I got paid every 4 weeks. Usually May or October is the magic month too. Oh, 4 weekly paydays. Oh, yeah, I had a few of those actually. My extra pay period normally fell over June or July. And yeah, these are all streaky. They're going to have to be seconds. That's ridiculous. Oh. Every 4 weeks is great. Like 4 weeks is your sweet spot. That's ideal. But the only problem with that is that your payday forever shifts. So you have to kind of fix your bills to a date where you know that like it's going to take ages to shift them again. So you're getting paid on the 15th. When I did a part-time job at BP Garages, getting paid on the 15th was nice. Because it meant that when everyone was starting to run out of money, you got paid. And then at that time as well, I was also that's when I first started the channel actually. So I had 2 part-time jobs. One was for a clothing retailer, so you always got paid on the 28th. And then because it was one of those ridiculous situations where it was like, we want full-time flexibility, but we can only give you a 16-hour contract, jobbies that are just absolutely rinsed. Because I could only get 16 hours guaranteed, and the manager had given full-time hours that apparently weren't available until her best friend started working there. Do I sound salty? I wonder why. I'd gone and got myself like a second part-time job. So this was working for BP Garages, and they paid on the 15th. So I would literally do like this was ridiculous. This was because when I started the channel, I was off sick and I'd basically worked myself to a point of sickness. So I would go in and I'd do like a 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the retail shop. And then I would go home, literally like get changed, have dinner, feed Bowie. And then I would do a 6 a.m. to a 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or a 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. And I was literally working. That was when I was reached. That was kind of like, yeah, that August bank holiday, I was in hospital because my pre-existing lung conditions had just gone, we can't do this anymore and you can't do this anymore. And that kind of coincided with me starting the channel, weirdly enough. Crumble has said she used to get paid 4 weekly and set her direct debits to come out 4 weekly. That meant that she had free bill month at the end of the financial year. I know. That rent-free month where you didn't have to pay your rent was beautiful, because depending on how much rent you paid, for me at the time it was 700, just extra. It's why some people pay their council tax over 10 months, because then you've got 2 months that you don't have to pay for, or you just become a student. Yeah, I will have to start paying council tax again in April, but that's fine. 2 years, well, 2.5 years without having to pay for it is not a problem, but that does mean that bill is going to, my expenses are going to go up by about 158 quid. Again, deal with that problem when we come to it. 2025 is going to be a case of there's stuff coming down the pipeline and it's going to be frustrating and we'll manage it. I'll try and put myself in a good position to deal with it. But yeah, 4 weekly pay was wonderful. Get this one done. 4 weekly pay was wonderful. The thing that frustrated, oh, Bowie's coming back. What are you doing? 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 Hi. Hi, sweetie. What's going on? He's literally just here. What is it? You okay? Well, it's not bedtime yet. It's only 9:30. Well, you can yawn and be cute. That's absolutely fine. Are you all right? Okay. How is it? You good? Yeah? What are you doing? What's going on, little bee? You lie down? Come on. Come on. You know you want to. I know, you're so sleepy. He's literally like right here. Come on. Come lay down. Come on. There we go. Come see the people. Come give them what they need, which is Bowie. Yeah, so I hide my cat, and I don't think I could cope with 2 weekly paydays. But yeah, so when I get paid from both those jobs, they literally meant like I had an income coming in every couple of weeks, but it was absolutely not good for my health at all. Yeah, you good. Show the people what they've been missing. You're the real star. Yeah, you are. You are the real star. I do want to be able to try and cover a few more storms, or be prepared for a few more storms in 2025, and that's where obviously that student loan income would have been lovely. But yeah, had to do the right thing, and it means that actually I can just focus on like life now and get not another budget stuff kind of done and going instead, which is far more fun and creative for me. Barry, what are you doing? You're so cute. And again, this one is constant source of worry. It really is a constant source of worry, for myself and others. But you know, we're in our extra time, and we're just going to love it and enjoy it as much as we can, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't look at him and know that he's ill. Like every time he's made an appearance, like in the video earlier today, he was like, "Feed me more food," and I'm like, okay. So you wouldn't look at him and know that he's an extremely unwell animal. But he is enjoying how many... Yes, I'm talking about you. Hello. What are you doing? What are you doing? You show the people what you're doing. You show the people. Hi. We got a little bit more. There we go. Oh no, you're just being shy. You're just being so shy. Yes, he's my little source of worry. But he is loving having me home, and I genuinely don't think I've got colleagues who are still teaching this week. I don't think I would have survived it. I think I would have exited the teaching profession just as soon as I'd arrived, because it was getting ridiculous that last week. I don't have words for how ridiculous last week was from a teaching perspective, and it coinciding with like it falling on the back of week 3 and week 4. And I remember when I was training, because we also had a 2-week summer holiday, a 2-week Christmas holiday, feeling like the 2 weeks wasn't enough. And certainly if I was still having to like do Budgetmas, do the try and get handmade Christmas done as well, and then have another week of like petrol and like lunches for school and stuff, it would have just, I think, broken me. And then rolling straight into Christmas, whereas like I've got loads of control over how I'm spending my time at the minute, and that's really nice. I get to kind of indulge creatively. What I'm trying to not do is run before I can walk, though, because I have got loads of ideas and loads of supplies and loads of things I can get going on. And I think that clearing out my fabric and crafting, or certainly fabric-based crafting things, will kind of help with that transition as well. Certainly if I need to move, I don't want to store it anymore. I don't want to move it anymore. It has literally followed me around 4 house moves. At some point, before I list and sell it all, I will do a video showing just exactly how extortionate the problem is. Yeah. Are we coming to the end of the video now, Bowie? Of this impromptu live? Are we coming to the end of it? Is that what this is? Yeah? Should we let the people go to bed or get on with their day if they're abroad? Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much for the Overlord in Chief, Bowie, has spoken. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, apologies for the vertical angle. It's not how I normally film them. I do try and change the rotation, but for some reason it's just not worked during the setup this time. So I'll try and go live. Hello. Show the people your beautiful face. Yes. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. What's going on? Jerry is saying, just to finish up, it's amazing how our brains go on vacation and a few weeks before our bodies go on vacation. Crumblecraft said bye. Jerry says bye. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I know this is late notice, but it's been a wonderful little chat and just, again, like, nice to see, like, just people in there. I keep your eyes peeled for updates on upcoming products, and there will be, I think, 2, but I might also do 3 videos tomorrow and see. Bowie and I, Troublemaker, here he is, are going to hopefully exit this live gracefully. It's probably not going to happen very well. What are you doing? It's not happening very gracefully at all. My orientation is correct. Stop it. Right, while I battle with this, you can all go on about your evening and about your day. Thank you so much for joining me. The orientation is correct. I'm going to love you and leave you. Watch me fail. I need a different setup when I host a live, don't I? Right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.